Hi everybody. This is a continuation of the 5 articles, of the 5 segments that you just saw regarding the accidents at Positronics and John T. Gentry and how they're failing to take care of my accidents and my burns and primarily my right eye. When I first started there in January of 07, in December of 07, December of 06, well, in January, a couple of weeks later, after only working for them, I found that I had an accident with my right eye and nitric acid got in my right eye. And it burned it, and I went to Concentra. And Concentra, of course, took care of it, but they gave me an eye test prior to watering, irrigating my eyes. And when they gave me an eye test, I could read with this eye and my left eye the entire chart, all the way down except for the last 2 lines. Now that means my eyes were in good shape. Well, 6 months later, when I, of course, little by little, I kept feeling like I was losing some of my sight, but I figured, oh no, I was just me. And my left eye was really taking over. But I even mentioned to the doctor that I was having a problem with sight, and he said, he looked at it and he didn't see any cataracts. He said, no, my eye's fine. And asked me why I'm not wearing glasses. Well, why should I be wearing glasses if my eyesight was good to begin with? Anyway, my next, from January 7th to January, of 07, I went down in July of 07 to take my eye test at the DMV, and I could see everything perfectly out of the eye test here at the DMV, but with this eye, I could see barely nothing. She kept putting things in there. What are you seeing? Well, I'm seeing kind of shadows, but I could see nothing out of my right eye. Now this proves conclusively that this acid, and I'm not going to go from 20/30 vision in January to 2800 in July of the same year. And yet they demand that I get an ophthalmologist who will back the fact that an acid burn cannot possibly cause cataracts, because that's what's happened. Cataracts began to form less than 6 months after that accident. And what burns me up is the law here says, well, you know, you got to have an ophthalmologist here telling you that it was an acid burn that caused that cataract. And here in Missouri, there isn't any ophthalmologist. When I mentioned to them even about the fact that it was an acid burn that caused this cataract, they started laughing and, oh, impossible, like this. I almost had one ophthalmologist, and I'm not going to name names, who kind of concluded, yeah, you know, it's possible that the acid burn and the acid fumes that I was working in the room could have irritated the eye and possibly have caused a cataract. Well, it's been 2.5 years, and in this eye, when I went to an ophthalmologist here in Springfield, where they really need to continue their education and learn that there are things that can cause cataracts regardless of your age. And if you start out with good vision in January and you have bad vision 6 months later, as the same eye that had the acid burn, that there has to be the acid burn that took part in it. Now, I went on, and when they said that the cataract was very thick in my right eye, because this is the eye I cannot even see out of, barely. I can barely, when I close my left eye and I'm looking at the camera, I can't even see the camera. So you tell me, it's been 2.5 years they've been playing around with my health. Playing around with it. Some big deal. Well, I went on the internet when I found out these ophthalmologists blatantly said that no way can the acid have caused the cataract to form in my eye. Well, little do they know. Here, I went on there, and I got these forms, and I got on there, and it says that cataract can arise at any age following a acid burn accident. Here over here, page after page, chemical exposure or a burn to the eye should be taken seriously, and these ophthalmologists are not taking it seriously. Neither is John T. Gentry taking it seriously. This is my health that they're dealing with and playing with. permanent damage is possible and can end up being blindly to the eye. To the eye. Could blind me, and they don't care. The severity of a burn depends on what substance caused it. And in this particular instance, nitric acid. Nitric acid. An acid burn results from chemicals. And generally, the accidents that were the acid, 99% of the time, are from accidents at work. This is page after page. And when I had that acid burn, it was almost 3 hours. 3 hours before I saw a doctor. The accident happened in January 7. 6 months later, I looked into the vision tester at the DMV, and on the right, I couldn't see, and it was totally blank. 6 months later, after the burn, and I asked my lawyer, please, go get those tests that they gave me at Concentra. Go to the DMV and get documentation that this is what happened on January 7th, in 07, January 17th in 07, when I took that test. Go get those documentations. If these stupid doctors can't realize that 6 months later, an eye doesn't go from good to almost impossible to see in 6 months. I need help. Please. There's got to be an honest ophthalmologist, or at least one that is educated enough to go in and be smart enough, be concerned with the person's eye rather than a person who is going to pay them to say and give a different opinion. It says here, vision restored by cataract surgery is the best way to take care of it. And they could have taken care of it when I went to the doctor. But they keep denying it, that it was the acid that caused this cataract. Well, I'm looking for a doctor, an honest doctor, that will bypass anybody else's money that's given to them to give a dishonest opinion. Thank you for listening. Please, whatever you do, help me blog this to everybody in the whole damn world to let them know how crooked the people, the doctors, and John P. Gentry is. He needs to take care of me and take care of this. It was an accident at work with me. Thank you. My